In this section, I will talk about headless architecture of Medusa and the project structure. But before doing that, I want to actually show you some diagram. So on the left side of this diagram, you have the storefront. The storefront is running in the customer browser, and the storefront is used for listing, updating cart, adding some products to the cart, making some orders and others, as you've seen in the previous chapter. And storefront utilized the Medusa backend to actually do it via the API. So I would like you to imagine that Medusa is just a backend API that contains all of the logic behind the storefront and the admin panel. And so in Medusa backend, you also have an admin panel that is attached to this backend. Let's go to the directory where we initialize Medusa. And as you can see, we have two folders, Medusa test storefront and Medusa test. We will not focus too much on the Medusa test storefront folder, but you should keep in mind that is just the template of the storefront that Medusa core team created for you to use. Here in our Medusa test folder, we have 4 different ES configs, each for a different environment, like admin, like the server, and also for the testing. In the package.json file, we have all of the necessary dependencies for Medusa to run. Also, it contains the jest config to run unit tests and the scripts to build, clean, and run each Medusa component like admin and a server. Medusa config.js contains a config to Medusa to run. For example, here we read the environment variables based on the not env. We also have a course configurations like admin course and store course. We also have the database URL. We also have a plugins array and some GVT information, cookie information, and the Redis URL, which is now disabled and is recommended for the production to use. Index.js file is an entry point for Medusa to start. It's not actually running when you use Medusa develop or Medusa start commands. It's just for the use case of some managers like PM2. We also have some environment variables files and also their templates. Uploads is a folder that Medusa file local plugin used to upload images to. This folder contains the output of build Medusa server API, and the folder build contains the build admin panel. The data folder contains the seed data that we can use to seed something. For example, products, users, or categories. We can do this by running the command yarn set, and this command will read this data and actually seed it to the Medusa backend database. The src folder contains multiple subfolders like types, in which we have types for the onboarding feature. We also have subscribers, services, repositories, models. About each of them in the details I will talk in the future chapters. Here we also have migrations folders which contain some of the migrations for the database, like creating and updating tables. We also have an API folder which contains some custom endpoints, like the onboarding one, which is default in Medusa. We also have an admin folder which is used to extend admin panel with some custom components, like for example onboarding flow component, which you have seen in the previous chapter.